If you've been trading for a decent amount of time, then I'm sure you know that the market does whatever the heck it wants. And somehow it often seems to do the opposite of what you want to do. Especially if you've only been trading for a little bit, a year, two, something like that. You're probably in the mode where, it just seems to do the opposite of what you want it to do. Now, there's a couple key factors that I found in First Solar. I just made $1,600 in this trade. All signs were pointing towards this thing's probably going to go rip up, right? If you're just looking at it from the outside. But there's certain things that you need to pay attention to before you put your capital to work and put the probabilities on your side. I knew that it was most likely going to go down after earnings. I took advantage. I made $1,600. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you exactly how I did that, along with a great website to help you do it quicker, more efficiently. And by the end of the video, you're going to understand some great things to help you kind of see behind the curtain a little bit. And that's the goal in this video. So stick around. You're going to learn a lot more. So I made $1,600 on First Solar. Okay, it's a solar company. And I mean, look at this move right here, right? From $70 all the way up to $220. Now, I wish I got in down here. I didn't. I just became, started paying attention because it came up on one of my scanners. But this is a perfect example and something that I can really show you what you should be looking for on your next trade just to help you out with probabilities, right? So we had a really great run here. And obviously it's in an uptrend. I just showed you. And we kind of accumulate back and forth, and we kind of almost break out over the previous high here, and then we do it again with this big green candle. So there's probably a lot of retail traders, and I see on StockTwits and Yahoo Finance, people who think, oh, this thing's going to rip up even more, right? And also you have Citigroup come through, so you have Citigroup back in March around here saying, oh, we're going to raise the price target to 220 and go from 75 to 220. And then this bank says, oh, to 163. And then we're going to raise the price target to 230 and 230, right? So you have a lot of banks coming out at the same time saying, hey, we're raising these price targets, to 230 and all that stuff. So a lot of retail traders kind of look at that and think like, oh, this thing's going to, rip to the moon. But I knew better. I sold calls here, right? And I take advantage of basically the calls becoming worthless after earnings and the stock going down. If you want to learn a little more about that, check my page out. I don't want to go into too detail because it'll take too long. So as it's going up like this and you're thinking, oh, great, you don't want to get trapped in that. So here's one thing, an amazing website you want to check out is called Finviz.com. So Finviz.com is totally free. You can put in whatever ticker you want. And, I have First Solar in here, and it'll actually break down a chart for you as well, which is pretty great. And you can go through and get all kinds of financials. And then you can see like upgrades, all these upgrades that happen, and then downgrades. Funny enough, the downgrades happen right before earnings, so that might have been a sign as well. But the biggest thing, and then you have all the news and everything like that, and all the stories that have come out about the stock. But the thing that I really like is it quickly shows you if insiders are selling. So one of the things you really want to do whenever you look at a stock, go check out, are there a lot of insiders selling? So here we see the VP global control guy, he sold, right? On March 16th. The director sold March 8th. Director sold March 7th. The VP sold March 7th. The general counsel sold March 7th. So a bunch of people, some people selling down here. The CEO is selling on March 3rd. So there's a lot of people that are inside, and option exercises, these are obviously all sales as well. But it's hard for me to know sometimes, was that required by the business or what actually happened there? But these are all going towards sales, right? So if you see a ton of insiders selling at a massive topping point, like look at the run that has happened on this stock, right? Like this is insanity how much it's gone up. And you have a ton of insiders now selling. And then you have a bunch of banks coming in and all of a sudden saying, oh, we're raising the price target like crazy. Even though they didn't have like very good earnings here, right? You're starting to wonder, or you should be wondering, what's going on here? Like, does this all make sense? And then when we look from a technical standpoint, okay, it's definitely coming up here, and this would have looked like a nice day at one point. See how it came right up perfectly up to that top point and then fell down? Okay, so it's kind of like, okay, I got up there and it got sold out quick. And then on this day, it kind of got up here and it actually went over it and then it got smacked down. But look at the volume. So obviously here you had a good volume day because it went, but look how low this volume is while this is all happening, especially on this day. You probably trapped so many retail traders on this because look what we did. We broke through the previous high. So you're kind of taught like, oh, let's look at the previous high and it's accumulating here and we broke through. So a lot of people will just look and go, oh, well, it broke through, I'm going to get in. But there's no volume. So here's the key factors, right? And then look what happens. As soon as the volume, as soon as it gets up here, it breaks down right away. The next week it just tumbles, and then we get to earnings and it absolutely gets squashed. And then I make money because these calls are worthless, or you could make money by buying a put up here, right? So here's the three key factors. You want to pay attention to, like, are there a bunch of upgrades just kind of happening in unison here? And the second factor would be, are the insiders all selling? So if we're seeing banks kind of propping up the price going, hey, look how great this is, look how great this is, even though the earnings were lackluster right before, and then we have a whole bunch of insiders selling, and we've clearly gone on like a massive run here up at a very high point, the insiders selling, and then I think the most important factor is the volume. If you don't have the volume as you're pushing up, and then it falls back, and then the volume here, and it gets smacked down again, and then you have the volume and it actually pushes through. That's pure, like, they're just trying to trap the retail trader. Okay, they actually call it walking the ducks. They want you to look, the market makers, they want you to look here on hardly any volume at all. Oh, look, we broke through. Retail guys, come in here. Oh, look, today it even broke out too. And on this day, oh, we just broke out just a tiny little bit there. Everybody jump in, and then it starts to fall. And there's no volume follow through. You want to see a lot of volume and good follow through and a nice strong green candle if you're going to decide this thing's going to go up. So pay attention to what banks are actually raising the prices. Pay attention to, are the insiders actually selling, and then massively pay attention to the volume. If you don't have the volume, don't believe that trade until it really shows you some strong volume follow through. And you can take advantage of the next trade. So definitely check out finviz.com. It's free to use. It's a really fun, quick way to kind of find out good information on a stock. And definitely check out, are insiders selling especially when we're at a top point, or are they buying, right? Maybe if you're at a low point and a bunch of insiders are buying, maybe you want to jump in with the insiders, right? And then always look at volume. You pay attention to volume and you want follow through, and that's what you want to be giving yourself a chance. It's not always a guarantee. There's no guarantees, but you have a lot higher probability if you got good volume push through and the insiders are buying with you rather than selling. Hopefully this helped you out. If you don't mind, like and subscribe. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one.